Well, Rory, we have a guest on today's episode, and it's a special one.
Oh, so exciting.
Yes, we have Tennessee, obviously known for many reasons, but Danny Aarons, who we had on the podcast a few months ago, is her fiance. They've had a baby together since we had Danny Aarons on the pod. Danny, obviously, as we covered, is a very well-known YouTuber in the space. It came up making FIFA content. Tennessee's not been on the scene as long as Danny, I don't think, but she's got her own following in her own right. But they met. It's a really interesting story. I think they actually met on a basically reality show on YouTube.
It's an amazing. It's the first, or at least that I know of. It's the first Instagram influencer collaboration of this kind. Like they've actually fallen in love. It's the first wedding of a.
Well, yeah, it's basically like what Love Island is supposed to be. I.e., you're actually supposed to find your significant other, and they almost never do.
They've done it in a different show, but
locked in. They went on and they met each other, and I have to say that their relationship is very much in the public eye. Certainly with a certain demographic that watches YouTube, and Danny's always with the Sidemen and in that content, and they're young. They're young, like in terms of parenthood, but as we're going to see in this episode, they seem to have taken to things really, really well, and everything that Danny has said he hoped parenthood would be seems to be like it is. So yeah, great to have Tennessee on. Great to have another mum on. Great to have someone that can tell us the stuff that we're wrong about, maybe
everything.
And someone who's a new mum. I've had the privilege of hanging out with Tennessee a few times with Danny, and she's a lovely girl, and she seems like someone who's just sort of meant to be a mum, which I mean, with nothing but huge respect. So really happy to have her on, and let's see what happens.
Into it.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Internet Dads. But today, Rory, we have an internet mum. Is Tennessee.
The internet mum.
Give a round of applause, Tennessee.
Welcome, Tennessee.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm very
Thanks for
excited to have
having
you
me.
here, Tennessee.
I'm
because
excited to be here.
We're completing the set. Obviously, we had your partner, Danny Aarons, quite a few months ago now, before you were actually parents. You're now the other side to it.
Yeah.
How the hell are you?
Good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm actually really good. I love being a mum. It's like the best time of my life ever.
I don't know how you're doing this. Look how you look like you're finding it all so easy. You look brilliant. You sound brilliant. You're saying that everything has been brilliant.
Yeah.
This was not my experience at all. I was in the trenches. This is amazing, man.
No, we was in the trenches.
You had your moments.
Yeah, definitely. But I love it so much.
You're still in them, or you're out? You think?
No,
you're out?
I'm out the trenches now.
out?
Yeah, I'm waking up like once, maybe twice in the night.
Wow.
I'm not in the trenches anymore.
You see that? I think that you've almost redefined what trenches are, because
Yeah.
that would be. This shows just that you're incredibly resilient, because a lot of people would go 2 times a night. Hard work.
Yeah. I mean, how old's your daughter now? How old?
3 months.
3 months. Wow, this is still very early.
Mate, yeah.
I used to party, so
Yeah.
I feel like I was on like 4 hours sleep, and I think 4 hours sleep. I used to go partying and have like an hour sleep and like work the next day. So
Have you got back to any kind of routine? So you're back working, which is amazing.
yeah,
And have you got any kind of social life back? You and Danny out and about?
yeah. I see my friend. I went out for food with my friend yesterday. I just bring her with me. I feel like I'm really big on don't let her rule my life. Like I rule her life.
Yeah,
Like,
I like
I'm
it.
gonna go out to eat with my friend. I'm still gonna go out to eat with
Good
my
for you.
friend. Like she's just gonna come with me.
You're an inspiration, because I basically didn't have a shower.
I tell you what you
10
are
days.
is you're a great advert for someone watching this if they want to have kids, like, because you make it look really easy.
Yeah.
I mean, so when Danny came on, and by the way, if you see me pointing off, it's because Danny is in the room with us right now.
Yeah.
over there.
It's overseeing. It's like terrifying.
He said
looming.
He said you'd had some sort of chat about how you wanted basically to get back in the swing of things after like 1 week, and he was trying to convince you to take a bit more time. How did it actually go?
2 weeks after I gave birth, we was back recording the podcast.
That is a Lutheran work ethic, man.
Yeah.
Lutheran.
Thing is, I don't like working. I feel like I give off this vibe that I love to work, and I don't. But it was more just because of what I do.
Yeah.
Don't know how long it lasts. So I thought I can't just be a mum and think that I can like enjoy being this. And I do enjoy being a mum, but I just didn't want to like fall into being like not lazy, but just like I don't know.
you're building
It's a
on-
wise attitude.
you're
It's
I
a
wanted
really
to like
wise
start as I mean to go on, and I want to carry on working.
Yeah, but you're also in a really exciting phase of your career, and obviously your relationship with Danny. I know you guys are engaged and all these great things going on. It's like when you've got that, because Alex and I have had channels and things in the past, and we technically still do. We don't really make content anymore, but there is this sort of FOMO, isn't there? Like you feel if you don't pounce on it and make the content while everyone's super interested in everything, you're going to miss out. Does that factor into it a little bit?
Yeah, it was kind of that. And also, if I didn't, then I would think, oh, this is so much better not going to do the podcast. It was almost like I just didn't want to know what it was like without it.
Yeah.
So I just was like, yeah, let's go straight into
Straight back in the
filming.
deep end.
Yeah.
Amazing. And how you feeling like overall then? Just well?
Yeah. Like, yeah, literally like the first couple nights I was really tired, obviously, because she's up a lot and I breastfeed. So Danny couldn't help me at night. I was never going to make him wake up and change a nappy. Like, it was literally
So
no
Danny's
point.
getting 8 hours kip a night. Is that what you're telling me here?
Yeah, and I was in the car with him and he
Furious.
was listening to you guys' podcast and you guys were saying about separate rooms.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to Danny, like, no, like, it's never happening. Separate rooms is never happening. Like a week in to having
Got
a
his own
baby. I'm like, just go in the other room
Yeah.
because it's almost like
what
I'd
we're
rather
saying.
just be in the bed with her and just know it's us two than like he snores.
Him
and just
driving you mad.
yeah, like
nicking
another
the covers.
yeah. And then it was at that moment I was like, I understand now.
This is what I'm saying.
Separate
Right?
rooms,
If
like-
you go on the clip of us saying that on TikTok and you look at the comments, everyone's slating us. They're going, "Oh, their relationships are doomed." All these things, like, you know. And you've probably had a
No,
similar
but I
opinion.
thought the same thing.
And now
I
you
was
see.
probably in one of them comments.
Yeah.
Maybe you might find me there. I thought also, why would you want to go in separate rooms? But actually, when you've got a child, it's so different.
But then, do you know what I've found happen? Would you agree with this? So the genesis for you going into your own room is because you've had a baby, and it's totally impractical to have Danny in a room at a time. I never want to go back.
Yeah.
I'm never going back. It's like that land. You know when people go, "Oh, until you've tried it, you won't know how good it is."
Yeah.
That's how I feel about having my own room. It's like perfection. It's
I've got an
everything
update
I
for
want.
you on that because we had this chat before and you said that,
Mm.
and I was kind of in the same situation as you.
Have you gone back?
I'm back. I am back.
Mate, I
Yeah,
feel
he's
sorry for
back.
you.
Danny's back.
Is Danny back?
Yeah, Danny's
Oh,
back.
no.
Get
It'll
back,
be like
boys.
the odd night if I'm really tired because I let her in the bed. I know, like, you're not really meant to. You're meant to have.
There's
a
no meant
crib,
to.
but-
Don't worry about
No,
that.
Yeah,
no,
no.
None of us. We don't know what's going
Oh
on.
yeah,
so there's
I
no
let her
rule.
in the bed. So if I'm really tired and I just want to get like a good night's sleep, I'll say to Danny, "Can you just go in the spare room so that I know like she's in the bed and it's like
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
just in her
Yeah,
side
yeah,
of the bed and then I'm there." But no, he's back in the bed because I didn't want it to go too long. I
See,
was kind of
I'm never going back. I'm making it my thing to never ever go back. It's like come together, then I have my own post-coital bedroom. It's like I reckon Henry VIII. When Henry VIII was married to like Anna Cleves, they didn't share a bed. They just got together, and then they went their separate ways.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm Henry
he's not
VIII.
got a great track record of his wife.
How
the
old's
way.
how many kids do you have?
I've got 2 kids.
Both
And
got
my
How old are they?
my youngest is 4 months, so I've been out of the room.
You're
for-
quite similar ages.
Oh yeah,
I've been out of the marital bedroom for 5 months.
you're gonna have to go back.
I don't want to go
Well,
back.
You're gonna have to.
I don't want to go back.
I think
Don't make
some
me go
people,
back.
what they do is they get on the, like, so, you know, I know people who've got, like, say, 3-4 kids and they just never got chance to go back. if you
Yeah.
like, or maybe they did and then they got pregnant again and it just became the norm. So it's quite hard to change. But if you've already got back, it's no good or bad. I think, like, everyone sees it differently. I
There's
think
good.
you definitely scientifically get worse quality sleep sharing a bed. That is factually proven.
Totally.
However,
Yeah.
maybe you do, depending on your personality, gain something else, you know, which is that solidarity and that partnership and that.
No, but you can come together and have your moments.
Well, I think
You
that's
come
what.
together for some sweet music and then part.
Yeah, because Danny would stay in the bed till like you'd like 1-2 a.m. like right as he was gonna fall asleep. It's like go in the other room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
We
that
still
wasn't
do
so
that. We
bad.
still do
Yeah.
that. Or if the youngest, like, you know, the one thing I'll say is, so our experience with baby 1 and 2 is very different. Baby 1, I was helping a lot more in the night times, getting up with them and all these sorts of things. I wouldn't say 50-50, but I'm basically not doing it at all now because I kind of take ownership of our oldest, and then Alex is doing all the heavy lifting there. So it's a different experience. But yeah, if he comes in, we've both got 2, but I've got 2 boys. He's got 2 girls. And
Oh my gosh.
if the youngest comes in, then I will migrate to the other room. But I'm starting the night in the same bed again, which is big. I'd actually fully moved out. I'd got a little single bed in my office downstairs. I'd put all my clothes down there. I literally had
gosh.
moved out the bedroom because it was one of those things where if I'm getting up at a different time, I need to go and get my clothes to get.
Yeah.
It wasn't practical.
That's the other thing.
And now I've moved back in.
Yeah, it is complete. I find it very impractical just because as well, I get in from work late. Victoria goes to bed very early with Pandora. It works. I like my own room. And I know you're not meant to admit this, but I never want to go back.
I think that
It's
a lot of
whatever
those-
works for your relationship,
Exactly.
really.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those comments, not all, but a lot of the comments were probably from people that haven't got kids and people that haven't gone through that experience.
Yeah, like an ignorant
Do you
place.
know what
That's
I've
one of
taken
them.
from this though that I'm gutted about? Obviously, when we had Danny on and we were talking, and this was all sort of pre-birth, I remember us kind of going to him, mate, you're going to have to, really help out. It's going to be so tough. You're going to be in the trenches. You're going to not know what day it is. Everything's going to, the ceiling is going to be crumbling and you're going to be trying to hold it up. He's having 8 hours kip a night and Tennessee's doing it all.
But you know what's really even more telling than that is we both commented on this when Danny came on with how sort of refreshing it was to. Obviously, you guys are like fairly young parents. Oh, not young, but it's certainly probably the trend is a bit older.
It's young
now.
now.
Modern
Even
day
now it's young.
But Danny was so like sort of in such strong belief that he'd always wanted to be a young dad, and obviously so excited for it. And we obviously thought that was amazing, but we were also a little bit like, you wait, mate. Come out the other side. You guys seem to be really thriving and doing well, like, which is amazing.
I say this in like the humblest of ways, but he had a baby with someone that really loved. Like, I wanted to be a mum. I feel like my whole life it was like, what do you want to be? A mum. And I've got 2 older sisters. Like, one's got 4 kids, the other's got 3 kids. So I've just watched my sisters be such amazing mums that it was almost like I'm never going to be anything less.
Are they close by? Do you all live
my
within
sister,
touch and distance?
Yeah, like when my sister had her first child, she lived at home. So it was like it was like this new baby and we all just helped with this baby. So it's like he had a baby with someone that really...
Yeah, knows
it
what
was
they're
like,
doing.
like I just put my all into it. So it wasn't like I don't know, I just think, it was... It made it being a young parents being a lot better, Yeah,
and that sounds like...
A week after giving birth, I was like, you can go and stream.
Yeah.
And we like streamed a week later. And
I think you've lucked out, pal.
Lucky. Honest. Lucky.
I think, like you basically sound like you're as experienced as someone could have been without having been a mum before. Pretty much. You had them all around you, young kids, all that sort of thing, and you went into it very open-eyed. And I'm curious to know if there was anything, that we might have said or Danny might have said in the pod that he came on, because I know you listened. Feel free to hold us to account if there's anything you're not happy with. Like, did Danny give an accurate portrayal of your relationship and the situation when you came on?
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay.
I think there was like one thing I saw that got clipped and I was like, no, I think it was fine. It was absolutely fine. The only thing when he listens, the plane seat.
Yes, the Costa Rica plane.
Before,
that was me.
And it wasn't even like I was so against it. It was more like I didn't want him listening to a podcast that was like older and he thought like they're older and wiser, like what they say goes. I didn't want him to think,
Danny, that is true.
if we get on a plane that long, I can sit somewhere different, like literally never happening. And that was the one thing I was like,
fair enough. Listen, I told that story knowing it was going to be open to some criticism.
It was appalling.
But hang on, be careful, Rory, because before you cast judgment, there's another story that we didn't tell that I know that I think is the perfect time to tell now, Rory. Don't you?
Some would understand why someone, if they had a link and a potential upgrade, would take the upgrade regardless of the circumstance.
So when I sat in a different seat, Tennessee, it was the same class of seat. This man to my left went first class while his family were in economy.
But only through circumstance, not through choice.
Did you take the baby at all while you were in first class?
Not with me, but we did swap.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, emotionally, yes. No, physically, no. I mean, the baby's always with me. She's with me now.
She's with
me now. Both of my children are very dear to me and they're with me now, but physically, no.
So I hear it, the whole sitting in. I said to Danny, I'm like, when we're older and our kids are a bit older, they're not coming into business with us. Like, they are in economy. If they're like 10 and 8,
yeah, they sit better.
They can sit in economy. They need to work. They need to know what happens to be able to sit in business. Like, we're not just going to have them in business with us. But if Danny said he was going into business, well, I was like sat in economy.
Do you reckon Danny would do it? Like, so imagine the actual. So at the moment we're talking sort of hypothetically, right? Just imagine the actual situation. Danny gets offered like some work. He wouldn't do it. Some work in the States.
He knows what's good for him.
Danny gets offered some work somewhere really glamorous. LA, long way in the plane though. And the company that are taking him offers him a first class seat. He says, "Oh, I'd love to take my family." They say, "Of course you can. We'll sort that out." But obviously, you can either all sit in economy or you can sit up here, and the rest of your family will have to sit in economy. What does Danny do?
Oh, I know Danny. He'd say, "I'll take it," but he'd book me.
Do you reckon?
First class. I know he would.
What a good
Or
guy.
if he said he couldn't, I would say, "Okay, well, you can sit in first class with Suede and I'll
do you
book
want
myself first class," but he would.
Do you want to know what the most optimal answer is? And I'm going to get serious daggers when I say this, is just don't take them. It's definitely the most optimal one. And I say that with love. It depends on your setup and it depends on what the job you're going to do is. Because obviously, like I haven't done loads since we had kids, but like in the previous years when I was doing like presenting for EA and stuff, we went to some amazing locations. Al would always come with me. Like I worked in Miami. We'd do a holiday after that. Multiple places like that. With the kids, in my experience at least, it sounds way better than it is.
Yeah.
This idea of them coming with you, especially if you're on a job that is like you're working all day and you haven't got time to socialise and that, unless you can latch a holiday on. And even then, I would say, because we talked about this earlier, Alex and I, about latching something on. It's better for her to fly out when I finish working.
Yeah.
There's no point in her coming out with the kids if I'm working all day and she's basically doing more parenting than she is at home because they haven't got nursery, haven't got that help. So everyone, each to their own. But for me, we tried it a couple of times thinking we were being clever. What a great lifestyle we're getting to do.
Yeah.
And it's just not that fun.
This is good advice for me right now because I'm organising a poker trip to Barcelona in the summer holidays. Maybe I'm not going to invite them.
Well, this is the thing I said about latching on. We were considering the same trip, and I said, look, because we wanted to go to Spain, I said, just come at the end. When I'm finished, come. Because no point coming before.
It's quite wise.
Yeah, but it's not... people might interpret it the wrong way, but it's really about optimising not just the mum's time, but also my time. Because if I'm there working, thinking the whole time, oh, God, she's at home, she's back at the hotel on her own, stressing out, it makes me not able to work as well. So it's... Yeah. You have to trial and error a lot of these things. You have to try them out. Maybe it can work, but we've had a few failed efforts at that.
Oh, that can be tough. What's your daughter's name?
Suede.
Love it.
Did you have a list? How did you come up with
know?
it?
Because Danny said when he was here, he's like, we know, but obviously we weren't. Obviously.
Yeah, he didn't tell us, did he?
Yeah.
I think maybe at that point we did know that we were going to call her that. There wasn't loads of options. I'm someone that doesn't like a typical name. Well, what you could say.
Is your name actually Tennessee?
Yeah.
That's incredible. And what are your siblings called?
My little sister's called Blue. My older sister's called Blaze, and then another one called Harley.
Blue, Blaze, Harley, and Tennessee.
Yeah, and Blue.
And is the Tennessee relate? Like, is it because of some affection towards the place, Tennessee? Have you been there?
I've never been there.
Nashville is one of my favourite places.
Yeah, no, my mum just said she heard it on a TV show and then decided to call me it. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of names that like me and Danny both aligned with because there was a lot where I was like, he was just like, no, that's crazy. Like, why would we call our baby that? They've got to be an adult one day. And I'm just like, yeah, but
you want to stand
I like
out
the
from
name.
the crowd.
It's cool, yeah. But yeah, Suede was one that we actually eventually.
Well, we've been through because all my family begin with S. Everyone in my family, like,
really,
not my kids, but my mum and dad, my brothers will begin with S. So we've gone through like a million S names when we considered all the different. Do we want to keep? We didn't want to keep it going as a tradition because it's actually really annoying when you get post. So if you've got 4 men in the house with the same initials.
I love names that begin with S. I just feel like.
What are your favourites? Apart from
Suede,
obviously.
Suede, mate.
Oh, but you got any others though? Or you don't want to give any away.
No, well, no. My sister's got a daughter called Silk.
Okay.
Silk.
Wait,
Yeah.
Suede and Silk.
Suede and Silk.
And everyone takes a piss. They're like, "You're gonna call 11X?" And she's got a cousin called Silk, and they're like, "Ha!" I'm like, "No, I'm being serious. Like, she's actually got a cousin called
Suede and
Silk."
Silk.
Yeah, and then my other niece is called Snow.
Oh wow.
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's quite a nice one actually. I hadn't thought
Wow.
about that.
Yeah. Oh, and then my other niece called Smokey,
Wow, Smokey.
Smokey.
and my nephew is called Sloan. But
Sloan,
like now
yeah,
it never
Sloan.
ends.
Smokey.
Yeah.
Smokey's cool.
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson.
There's a
Love
Sloan.
that.
What's Sloan in? It's a famous TV show of a Sloan. It's not.
Sloan Ranger.
No, is it Entourage? I think it's Entourage.
Oh, or Grey's Anatomy.
It's not.
I always watch that.
It's not Sopranos because you'd know if it's
No, it's not
Sopranos.
Sopranos.
I think there's a character called Sloan in Entourage. I've heard that name before, but yeah, I mean, so some of the names, the S names that my mum and dad considered for me and my brothers that didn't make the cut was Steed. Have you heard
Oh, I
of
like
Steed
that.
for a boy?
Like a fiery Steve. What
Sean
about
Treese.
Steve?
Sean Treese.
Was that an S?
Apparently.
Sean Treese.
But if we were a girl, we were going to get called Sean Treese.
I'm not sure if you're
Have I
putting
not
the Sean
told you that?
Treese off.
Well, I think I would struggle, but my mum and dad fancied it.
No, you female Sean Treese. No.
We've got some Spencer. We've got my brother Seb, Sebastian, and then my younger brother's called Saunders, which is
Oh,
more
I like
of
that
a
name.
it's more of a surname traditionally. But we have got a few other S's actually scattered around the family. I've got a couple nephews, and my brother's fiance is an S, but I couldn't keep it going.
Hey, Suede is so original. Are there any other Suedes? Like,
Yes.
do you know there is
I
a
hate talking about it. There's another influencer with a.
Oh,
with
you're
a
joking.
sound
Oh,
called
no.
Suede. She made a brand called Suede.
Did you know
Waves.
that before?
No, I found. Oh, I did know that one
was she,
before.
was she
Okay.
first?
She was first. Then there was another influencer, and like the worst thing is like it's not even about like who has more followers, but like they've got more followers than us. It's
Oh,
like
it's over.
not about that, but it's just there's another influencer, and literally like we decided on the name, and then maybe like 2 months before we had our Suede, she had her Suede. So it was like we already knew that we were going to call her Suede,
Right,
and 2
yeah,
months
yeah.
before she had a baby.
Right.
Well, so
Yeah.
this is quite topical, right? You don't know this. Today, my oldest did his first taster session at school. His first one.
Oh wow.
So it's quite a big
Big
thing.
day.
So we dropped him off. He only did an hour, and I don't talk about his name and stuff on here, but when we dropped him off, he's got a fairly unusual name, and there was another boy with the same name, and I was fuming. I was like, what? God damn it.
Yeah, because when you pick a name that you think is unusual,
originality.
it's like,
You've picked
it's like, it's not. You think it's unusual, and then you're like, oh. And then we get so many comments online, like, what kind of name is that? Who's gonna have a name like that? And then as soon as I see someone else like with the same name, all the comments would be like, yeah, it's not that unusual. Like, it's just, I don't know why you thought it was like, it's like you can't win on social media, I've realised.
It's funny to hear that you get that as well, because I've gone for quite traditional names. So like my oldest daughter's called Clementine. That gets absolutely ripped. So it just shows you online that you can't win. Because I've gone for quite a traditional name and I get absolutely ripped for it. And you've gone for a modern name, and you get the grief as well.
You're not going to get ripped if you say, "Oh, my kid's called James or Michael." Or like,
I bet you would though. People would.
Still would.
The angle would be that it's
probably.
too. The angle would be that it's too
can't
straight.
win.
If I did a name that people think is like, one of them, they would still comment saying, "No, I didn't expect that from her." A bit more original than that.
Exactly.
It's like you can't win.
Yeah. You can't. And basically, you just can't ever win if you care what the comments say.
No.
As long as you just get that out of your brain, then you can live your life and enjoy it.
Do you ever care what the comments say?
Yeah, I'm bad.
Do you really? I thought you were
so bad.
Oh, Tennessee, I thought you were going to say the exact opposite there.
No, I don't care. No, I don't care. I want to say I don't care. No, I'm bad with
What
comments,
sort of thing
like,
though? What would hurt your feelings? What sort?
No, nothing hurts my feelings. It's more like I'll read a comment, I'm like, that's so far from the truth.
Yeah.
But then it bothers me that someone thinks that is the truth.
Yeah.
But then I have to understand that they probably don't even think that's true. They're just trying to troll and make people think that's the truth. But no, I read comments. I'm like,
does it bother you everything? So does it bother you when it's about you? Does it bother you when it's about Danny? Does it bother you if it's about your daughter's name, for example?
When it's about her name, weirdly no, because I'm like, I just look at their name and I'm like, I wouldn't want to be called your name.
The name because it is
because you like
the point. So you want to elicit a response, really.
Yeah, the name no, and weirdly when it's about my daughter, it doesn't affect me as much. I thought it would. I think because if people try to comment on my parenting or Danny's parenting, it doesn't bother me because I'm like, nothing you could say will make me think I'm a bad mum or make me think that he's a bad dad, at all.
Well, you know the truth.
Yeah, I know the truth. And then recently I got DMs when I was away, how would you feel if someone posted your daughter's face? They've obviously seen me out and taken a photo of me with her. And before I got that DM, I thought it would really affect me. And when I got it, I thought, go on then.
How hateful is that? That's appalling.
Yeah, if you want to post her face because you've seen us and you've taken a photo,
sort of holding
go
you
ahead.
to ransom. They've taken a photo of you and then come into your DM.
Yeah, but go ahead. I feel like you thought that was going to affect me way more.
It's really interesting for us because Spencer and I are older and have kind of been in the industry quite a long time and have done it at a stage in our life that perhaps at least stereotypically we wouldn't be as impressionable or whatever. We're older.
Well, I wasn't getting comments or interaction or criticism at your age at all.
No,
it didn't happen to me.
Neither was I. It didn't exist when I was.
And I think it's harder. The younger you are, the harder it is. You guys aren't kids by any means, but if you're I know Danny when he talked about how young he was when he first started YouTube. I still think he probably benefited a little bit then from it not being what it is now. If you're the age Danny was when he started, but starting in this generation now, it must be really hard.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've got some stick, we all did, but yeah, the younger you are, it's tougher. And I guess that leads me on to a question which, and it's very early days, but have you thought about the future and what you might want Suede doing? And there's obviously an opportunity for you guys to create sort of family content and all the stuff building on the stuff you're already doing. And if she wanted to go down that route one day, just like actors and politicians, all these things can give their kids leg ups if they want them. Is that something you'd explore? Or have you got an opinion on it yet?
Family channel, no.
You say no, you don't want to do it?
No, I'd never go down that route. If she got to an age where she wanted to be online, so be it.
Does she feature in your content at all now?
No, we don't share her face online. I think that's what makes people more want to be like, how would you feel if we posted her face?
Yeah.
But no, we don't share her online. I don't think I ever will.
Yeah. I think that's a really wise idea.
Well, because it would be easy. Let's face it would be easy for you to do that.
It's such an easy win
for you to cash in on it, because there's a thing.
And I'm not. I don't want. My sister got married a few weeks ago, and I didn't keep her out of the wedding photos because I thought I'm not going to take you from life experiences. I don't want you to grow up and say, oh, my auntie got married. Why was I just no trace of me?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was an influencer. I was an influencer. It's not a thing anymore, but I was, you know what I mean? If influence is not even a thing and I've got to explain to her, I kept you hidden because I had 1 million followers. Who cares?
I think that's a nice balance what you've got.
Yeah, but I just
life.
don't want to profit off her. I don't want my ad to be, oh, I did this with my daughter, like shop with my discount. I just
Yeah.
don't want her to be like my source of income.
Yeah, good
No.
for you.
Yeah.
I think that's personally each to their own, but I do think that's my preferred route as well. When we've kind of kept our kids out of stuff, and it also allows you to like my boy is 4.5. He knows what YouTube is. He watches YouTube. He clicks the YouTube button on the TV. He has no, and maybe he's still very young, but he has no idea that I make videos.
Oh, really?
He thinks I run a football team, which is right. I do run a
Yeah.
football team,
Yeah.
but he doesn't understand that there is a sort of business side to that. It's about content, and like every now and then, like when I've gone on like Sky or whatever, and Alex has put it on, he'll be like, oh, "Dad's on TV," but he hasn't really connected the dots yet that that's sort of what I do, and I haven't really got a plan for that in the future. But yeah, I've managed so far to insulate him completely from that industry, and he doesn't really know anything about
and
it.
And it is so important. I think. I think like the decisions that you've made, and I've made the same one to kind of keep them as far away from the public eye as possible. I think it's important. It's so important for their protection.
We just don't know as well. This is the thing, right? We just don't know what the future holds. Like when we were kids, there wasn't even the cameras weren't even as prolific as they are now. Like
No.
people had to get what was it? They had like Polaroids and digital. Like this is how old we are, right? Like digital cameras weren't a thing when we
You
were
wind
kids.
up. Do you remember that?
Like,
You'd
you would
wind it
literally
up.
take
Hang
a
on,
picture
hang on. I'll
on-
take another one in a minute.
You got to go and get them developed in the shop, the photo, right? Like so, it wasn't the same. People weren't running around with cameras. If you were, my dad had one of those big, the big VCR cameras or whatever. And that was like fairly rare when we were kids, and it was like quite a thing to put that into the TV and watch the footage back. It was like a long process. So not many people did it. What that means is now, when you see footage of yourself as a kid, or certainly the generation before us, it's like gold dust. Like it just doesn't exist. Like whereas our generation, when we die, there's going to be a million photos of us, which is, I guess, good and bad. But yeah, that older generation, they're almost like time capsules. They're quite sweet, but now there's probably too much of it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It really is.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you'll have you spoken even about more children? What do you envisage you having more at some point?
Yeah,
You're
You're
soon?
talking about an army of Aaronses.
I did want to have 6 kids, but I think I've like pushed myself down to 3.
Just a mere 3, Danny.
3, maybe 4.
Yeah, maybe 4. Depends. If I had like another girl, definitely another one. Then if the third was a girl, I probably wouldn't have a 4th
Yeah.
because the chances of that being a girl. But then if I had like a boy, I'd definitely have another.
Have you got a
Dangerous
lot? Have you got
strategy.
one of like? Is there a family trend in terms of girls and boys, or is it a nice mix? Like what in your short?
Yeah, like my older sister, she had a boy, girl,
Right.
and then my other sister had girl, boy, girl.
Oh well, so it's
Perfect.
pretty
Yeah,
much half
so
and half.
there's like, I would.
Okay,
like to
so
have
you've got a good
boy.
chance. You know,
Yeah.
my mate, a good friend of mine, has just had a baby now, and they've basically had their 3rd kid because they were desperate for a girl. Like that was the point. You know, they were quite open about it. So much so that my mate insisted that his wife and him didn't find out the gender of the baby because he was worried that she was going to be sort of disappointed through the pregnancy. Luckily, they've had a little girl, but I felt like it was just nailed on that they were going to end up with 3 boys and then try again, 4 boys. It's like,
That's what my Alex's brother's got 4 boys. I think they've been trying for the girl, and it's just
Yeah, my mom had 4 girls, but I wouldn't mind having like 3 girls. I think if I had 3 boys, I think
that's what my mum had, and
yeah.
she made it very aware, made us very aware as kids that her life would have been easier if she'd had a girl.
yeah.
It was
I
quite-
think because boys are
yeah.
nutters. Like my mate, you know, when I'm with young boys, they're just wild, aren't they?
Boys are like puppies.
Yeah.
I feel like boys are like puppies all the time. Like Danny, even now, is still like a puppy. It's like they're just full of energy all the time. They always want to like play, like not in like a weird way, but like any time of the day, I could probably say to Danny, like, go outside and like run in the garden, and he'd probably just be like, yeah,
Yeah, let's go running.
yeah, like let's just go.
Let's
and
go
run.
frolicking in our garden.
Yeah, and he would do it. Whereas, yeah, because my sister has like boys and girls, the difference between like the boys and the girls like is actually crazy. Like the boys want to be constantly entertained, like full active, whereas the girls are a lot more fine to just kind of sit there. Like,
Where do you? So we've had this debate, and we differ on it. Like, where do you stand on what's easier?
I think it depends. So I think boys are harder in like the first stages of life, but teenage up, girls are going to be harder.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that based on what you were like?
Yeah, I just think girls like they go through a lot more like hormonally, and like in terms of like they're gonna like get in relationships, they're gonna be heartbroken, they're gonna get moody, they're gonna have something on their mind, and you're not gonna know what it is. Whereas I think boys are a lot more like black and white.
Yeah.
Whereas like they're just gonna come back from football and like,
Yeah,
like
and they'll be
score
happy
a
if they've
goal. They're
won,
just
and
gonna
they'll be sad if they've lost.
And if
It's really obvious,
and if
yeah,
they're
yeah.
sad, it's like it's probably because they've lost. Whereas
Yeah.
a girl could come home sad, and it's like you could not have a clue what it is. They're a lot more there's a lot more like behind
I'm just
the
so
girls.
naive on the whole girl thing in general. Like I never had a sister. I barely like knew girls until I was like 16, and you start dating girls and things. But I have very little exposure to like young girls, basically. Like in terms of sounds weird. I shouldn't have exposure to young girls. You know what I mean? Though, like I went to boys'
Good.
schools. That's the other thing. I went to boys' schools as well.
Oh,
So I literally
okay,
was
yeah.
never around girls. Like, and I don't know what having a daughter would be like at all.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good. It really is so good. But I do also worry for the future.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
more the
also-
future.
yeah.
I think with girls, they're easy growing up. Like they're a lot more
Mm.
like calm and like they can be a bit like diva-ish. I feel like girls, like my sister's girls, are a bit more like if it's not their way, like they're just like I want it.
Do you know
like
what I
this.
think as well? Just like in like a really basic difference. Like my daughter and my cousin's kid were round. So the cousin's kid is a boy. They're standing on this ledge. They're the same age. Clementine looks over the edge and goes, "Bit high to jump off, isn't it?" So it doesn't.
Yeah.
The little boy looks over and goes, "Nah, it'll be all right." Jump down, like smashes his leg up. They go off to A&E, and I'm like, "Good girl, good girl."
Sensible.
I reckon that tiny story there is a microcosm of boys and girls at 6 years old.
Girls are way ahead of boys, aren't they, for a long time? Physically, like they grow taller quicker, I think. And then in classrooms, they are always
Mentally,
like switched
yeah.
on until I think it's like 13, 14 boys start to catch up.
Yeah.
And obviously then we just absolutely go past. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
No, we said this before on our pod. I was like, guys develop like I think it's 2 years behind girls.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you noticed that. But yeah, I don't think it's like a lot of things, like football opinions that we make our living from. Like there's no right answer, is there? And I also think there's generalizations, but you've got girls who will be like my Mrs. Alex is adamant that she was just the dream child. She never got in trouble. she never disrespected her parents ever.
Yeah.
Never had an argument with them. Like, what was your? Because I think so much of parenting is learning from what you went through as a child. It might be a really positive experience, so you want to recreate that. It might not be so positive, and you want to learn from the mistakes. Like, what is your relationship up with your parents, and how have you learned from that?
My mom's like my best friend.
Yeah.
It's like I want my daughter to be my best friend, but I don't want to be like, you're my best friend, because I feel like my mum was
You
really
have to
like,
be,
yeah,
yeah.
my mum was really like, we're best friends. So then there was a point in my life where I kind of like, feel like every girl gets to the point where they're like a teenager and they're just like, no, like you're my mum, like that's all you are.
Yeah.
But then you come back to it and you're like, no, you're actually my best friend.
Yeah,
like you're my mum and my best friend.
has she been
Like-
very helpful with Suede and everything? Has she been involved?
Yeah, she has. She's got so many grandkids. I think
Yeah.
she's at the point now where she's like, another grandkid. Like, oh my God. But no, whenever I need her, she's got her today. So,
That is
yeah,
the important
she's
part of it,
there.
though. The timing is really key, because when we had our first, for my parents, it was only grandchild number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Three, grandchild number 3. For Alex's parents, it was like grandchild number 7.
It's
And
different.
like you do have a certain amount of resource that can be used up as a grandparent, right? Like
Yeah.
if you've done 4 or 5 kids
Yeah.
worth of helping out and helping the nappies and all that,
Rather
you
than
might
the
not want to
first
go.
one,
as-
yeah.
If you're first in, I think that's the best timing to get the grandparent help. So you can't plan it.
Although it's reliant on it's Suede, you know, like on the scale of being like a difficult baby and a good baby. Like I don't like using the word good because it implies that there's a bad. Just like an easier. Would you say that she's an easier baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the easiest
Calm.
baby. She
Is
doesn't.
she?
Yeah, I think before I had her, I was like on a side of TikTok where I shouldn't have been on, like colic, all stuff like that. And then when we had her, like she doesn't cry. Even at night, she will never wake me out of a cry. She'll just wake me out of like,
Really?
and then I'm like, I just feed her or I just like get her back to sleep. She's so easy. The only time she cries is if she wants one of us.
Oh.
If we like someone's holding her that she just wants
She
one of
wants
us.
you,
She's
don't
not a crier for no reason. She's so calm.
Did you know you
Rory did
mentioned
have that. Rory
colic?
did have that experience.
You know, you mentioned
Yeah.
colic there. I'm not even joking. To anyone listening to this, I would say it's the hardest thing that I've ever had to deal with in my life. A baby with colic. Clementine, my first, had it. I didn't know what I was.
I feel like it can put you off ever wanting to have
She
kids.
just
again.
looked in my eyes. She was obviously a tiny little baby, beautiful little thing, and she would just look in my eyes and just scream the house down from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. every single evening. It got to the stage
Yeah,
we lived in a flat.
it's only colic, isn't it? If it's like the same.
It's the same
time
every, yeah,
every night. Yeah.
Exactly. And it would happen. And I mean that relentless scream. Not sort of a murmur or a natural cry. I mean looking down the like barrel of my eyes and just going, ah, like launching into this tirade. And do you know what I ended up having to do? We lived in a flat at the time in West Hampstead. I had this sling on. The only thing, so I didn't have any houses any steps in the house, obviously, flat. I'd have to go into the stairwell of the flats without a top on, wearing a sling, and like walk up and down the stairs. I was freezing, because you couldn't wear a top, so you wanted to be on skin. I was freezing, walking up and down the stairs. I've never been so fit. But like sometimes where I lived when she was born, people would, like the young lads in the flats would go and have a smoke in the stairwell or whatever. And I'd be like, can you do me a favour? I'm so sorry, but you can't do that here. I have to walk up and down stairs because it's the only way that she'll stop screaming. And anybody going through that colic, like it does pass, is the only advice I can give. It passes. But it's probably the closest thing.
I feel like it'll scare you for having more kids.
Mate, I've got a 6 year gap. The reason I've got a 6 year gap is I didn't want another kid because I couldn't deal with this colic.
Yeah.
He was going to get the snip. He was going to
Passionately.
take it off.
I was excited about it. I wanted it badly. It's an operation on my bollocks, and I was like looking forward to it. I was like, this is going to be fucking amazing. I'm going to make it a day out, man. I'm going to like go for a nice lunch first. I'm going to make it a holiday. Luckily, I didn't, because also I've had, and it's great because I've had another baby now who didn't have colic, and I've learned that, like, when I would speak to people, and if I hadn't had my second, this conversation, I would feel not resentful, but I would feel like I'd missed something, and your summary of the situation wouldn't chime with my view of it. I would hear you saying how great it was and how easy it is and how Danny's getting 8 hours and you're waking up maybe once or twice, and I would think, what the hell are you talking about? Like, was I a bad parent? Or did I catastrophize the situation? Was my kid a lunatic, which is probably a bit true? But like knowing now, having had a second, that it was basically just colic.
It's the luck of the draw.
Got to get through colic.
Yeah.
And that is the thing as well. It can go both ways. You're right. A difficult experience could put you off. Likewise, a really good one can trick people. So sometimes they have so good.
That's where I'm at.
They have the second one and they're like, what? This didn't happen the first time. And suddenly it's worse because you've got 2 to deal with. And
if Pandora was born first, there would be a 2-year age gap.
Yeah.
But because it was the other way around, I was saying to my wife, I was like, I'm never having another baby. And when people talk as well, people like listening to you, they go, oh, it's the best period, that newborn. I'm like, are you crazy? It was terrible. It was just horrible. Like, and it was a shame because I kind of feel like I missed out. Whereas I kind of captured it second time round.
Yeah. And maybe there's something in that life advice in general. It's not everything. Don't judge a bad experience like it's always going to be like that, and go again. And there's rewards at the other side of it. Because right now you're sitting here with someone who obviously would rather have the 2 kids than the one.
Exactly.
You would have had the snip.
Keep going. Yeah.
It shows you.
But I'm going to get the snip again. But that's a different.
What would you say, Tennessee, is the biggest adjustment you've had to make from your life before to your life now?
Probably work. I have to like schedule. And most people schedule in their work. I wasn't someone that scheduled in my work before. I'd like know I had to do this by the end of the week, and I'd kind of just be like, I'll do it now. Whereas now I'm like, I need to do this today, and if I don't do it today, and I'm still like getting the adjustment with Danny, because sometimes I'll be like, I need to film an ad, and he's like, you should have told me because I've got to do this. So it's like probably work, and then also just being like spontaneous. For like before, I would say to Danny, should go get food, and we drive like an hour to go to this restaurant, but you just can't do that anymore. You have to like schedule everything.
People without kids don't realise how good they've got that element of their life. That you can do anything at any time.
Yeah, the idea of doing anything impromptu just doesn't happen now. Like anything. Like and when I say that, I'm not saying, oh, do you want to go to New York tomorrow? I don't mean that. I mean like, do you want a coffee? Yeah, I can't do that. I can't.
Oh, should we get a Nando's? It was past 7 p.m.
Of course not. Of course. How are we going to do that?
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. Have you thought of have you put Suede down for a nursery? Do you know what you're doing on that front yet? Or
no, I think I haven't even thought that far ahead. I know some people see like schools when their baby like aren't even born, like they'll like think about what school they want to go to. I'm just not even sure. I'm not sure where we want to settle down. I'm not sure where we want to like.
But you should do it like generally, even if you don't stay in that area, and even if you don't end up using it, go and put name, because it just goes. You might not
I
be able to
know.
get
That's
in.
what my sister was saying.
Yeah, it might be worth just like going. This could be advice to anyone. Just like put your name down for the nursery, pay the deposit, and then you have a place. Yeah. Because otherwise, what will happen is you'll get to a point in your life where you'll think it'd be great to have some nursery cover now, and they'll go, great, come back in a year.
Yes, that's what literally happened. So with our first, we signed him up. He started at 1. I think we signed him up for 2 days a week at about 6 months old. After about a few months of doing 2 days a week, we realised we wanted to up it to 3.5. We had to wait 6 months for that to change, though. Even when you, so when you realise it's already sort of too late.
That's the other hack.
Because if you realise it means you've probably experienced some sort of struggle.
Yeah.
So you want to have it ahead of time.
This is a difference in terms of like brain power.
Now, you're going to say you
he
booked
did
the
2.5.
5 days.
He did 2.5 and wanted to up it.
With the
I
first
booked
child?
5
With the first child?
and took it down.
With the first child?
First, mate.
Oh, that's fair enough.
No
We did
flies
that-
on
we
me.
did that with the second.
No
we did
flies
that
on
with the
me.
I don't know how I feel about nursery yet. I feel like I'm really protective.
Yeah, give it a few
maybe
months,
a little
though.
bit overprotective. I know because I'm like this is probably the longest I've left her today
Yeah.
Really.
because we filmed a pod before and then now I'm filming this. So that would be the longest.
So have you ever? So you've never been away for a night since
It's
you.
only
Oh, not a
3 months.
night.
3
No,
months
no,
is
no.
quite- it's
Yeah,
quite-
I don't think I could do a night.
Mm.
I don't think I'll ever do it. Like
You will
That's what
definitely.
that's
you
what
will.
my
You
I
wife's
don't
will.
like.
know though. Like
My wife's like that, man.
my
wife's
sister
done
never
a
did a night. The first time she ever did a night was like ended up being to help me out, and they were like 7.
Yeah,
My
that's
wife has
crazy.
never not slept in the same house as Clementine. Clementine's
Yeah,
6.
yeah.
That's mad.
I don't know if I could.
I think that's crazy.
She wouldn't do it.
I'm like a control freak though, so I think I don't want to be like that with my daughter. But
This is the thing. So
up until she's a certain age, like yeah, I'm gonna be a control freak. Like if I'm not there,
My wife
yeah.
would totally like everything you're saying to me now doesn't I can't rationalize it.
No.
Like I love going away. I would go away now. I'd literally go away.
yeah.
If my wife was sat here, she'd be like, "Yes, thank you. I completely agree."
Well, I think
She
where
hasn't
you
gone away
are now, it
6.
makes sense. You're free.
Or
3
yeah,
months
or I
in.
think I'm in a position where if I needed to go away for work, or I had to go to Manchester, I had a shoot in Manchester, and I had to stay the night before. It wasn't even like an option in my head to not bring her.
Yeah.
It was like,
Just goes, yeah.
who can I bring with me
Yeah,
to make this easier? So I brought my little sister with me and we stayed. My older sister lives in Manchester. So we stayed at her house and it was just like, obviously my little sister's going to come with me to the shoot. It was like, wasn't even an option.
Yeah.
Well, that makes
For me,
sense
not-
though. Like, you're very early in the motherhood process, but also like you're still doing things like breastfeeding and stuff. There's actually logistical reasons why it's hard to
Yeah, I
do
physically can't
Yeah, you
leave her
can't.
for a night. Like it just wouldn't be possible.
Well, like with
while
so
I'm
with our
breastfeeding.
second, Alex has just so he's a year and 2 months now, and she did the full first year breastfeeding only, right? Which she didn't do the first one, and like I think and I'm not saying everyone should do this by the way, because I think it's so rare and so hard to do, and absolutely fine to not do that because we didn't with our first either.
Or she didn't breastfeed with the
She
first.
breastfed exclusively, I think, for. I might get this wrong and she'll be angry with me, but I think with the first it was 6 months.
Okay.
And then
that's what they say.
Yeah.
do
But I mean,
for
also
6
like when
months.
our generation were being weaned at like 3 months, and now
Yeah.
they're weaned. Everything changes, right? So I wouldn't worry too much. But the point is, with this second child, she hasn't had the option of not being there. You know, and she doesn't really like expressing either. So even like the idea of me helping with some milk that she's expressed wasn't really an option. She didn't really want to do it. So that is like a commitment that
It
you
is
cannot get away
long
from.
expressing.
But when you get older, though, when the baby gets older, you will, I think, change, or maybe you won't, but I think change your tune. Because I think there's also a point, don't know what that point is, maybe sort of 5, 6, where I think the child really benefits from a night away. Like our oldest has stayed loads of times with my mum and dad, and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. And there's no way you could tell me that he hasn't like developed as a child as a result of that independence, you know, connection with the grandparent, because it's a very different thing, like spending independent time with your grandparent than it is when your mum and dad are there. It's like you're creating your own relationship with another human being. So I think, because I do know people
That's
who
the
are kids are older,
importance,
they
though.
don't allow them to go
the,
places.
That's
I
the
think
luck and design. The fact that you've got them around the corner, though. The fact that you're all in your crevice of Essex makes life.
But no, equally, like I'd be more than happy for him to go to Alex's parents.
Oh
and
no,
do
of
that,
course you'd be
like-
happy. I just mean the practicalities of it, because you can pop back in the next morning and
Yeah, it does help.
Yeah.
It does help. And also, like, I don't know what Sway's like in the car, but getting them early in cars, getting used to traveling in cars is a massive thing, because you hear so many couples that go,
Although-
he doesn't like it in the car, he's going to cry in the car. You're like, well, again, I don't know if this is luck or deliberateness, but our kids are amazing in the car. They basically just fall asleep as soon as you start driving.
Yeah,
And so you can do long
if
journeys.
she's not asleep, she hates the car.
Yeah,
if
the
she's
car,
asleep,
yeah.
she's fine.
Maybe
yeah.
it is luck of the draw then.
It stresses me out, the car, any kind of car journey, because I just hate it.
Yeah,
Screaming in the back of the car.
yeah.
Like-
It's just like, oh, I'll climb into the back, and then I climb into the back, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
and then
Bit
I
like that.
start touching
Danny,
the
hold
buckle,
the
and I'm
car
like,
steady. You're trying to go through the
Yeah.
gap in the
yeah,
middle.
yeah. I just like jumped, and then I'm like holding the buckle, and I'm like, we can't live like this. Like I can't live like in the back, like. See, yeah, but if she's asleep, it's fine. And she will fall asleep, but it's just once she wakes up, she's just.
What are you going to be like for routine? Like, let's say you've got a nice routine. Everyone knows what they're doing. It works like a charm. And then you're at a family event or something, and it just becomes quite apparent that you're not going to get out of there till 9 o'clock or whatever. Like, are you one of these mums who's comfortable having the baby asleep in the pram and you're at dinner? Like, it's something we did a lot. We were on holidays. We had him just sleeping in wherever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep, getting used to being comfortable. And I think it helps because now he will sleep anywhere, anytime. You know, I think if you don't do that personally, if you as a parent are really hung up on routine and very like, I have to be like this, you're kind of feeding that emotion into your child, so then they're more likely to be less comfortable at friends' houses, for example, things like that.
Yeah.
So have you got a concept of how you're going to be with that stuff?
No, I feel like the first like month I nearly become like that, like routine, this is the routine. But now I don't actually care. Like no matter what, once we get into bed, you're gonna sleep.
Yeah.
And I just went away, and it was like we were out for dinner. It'd be like 9 o'clock, and then if we get back at 10, we get back at 10:30.
Did you go on holiday?
Yeah, I went to Ibiza.
With Danny, as a family, or was it?
We went to Mallorca as a family,
Lovely.
and then literally just last week I went away with my mum and the baby. Danny came out for the day.
How did you
Surprised me.
find the holiday?
Great.
I thought Danny hated
Yeah,
holidays.
so
Don't you hate?
relaxing. He does. That's why he came for the day.
So
Surprised me.
how was he as a dad on holiday? How did he do?
He was good. I think he was like a bit stressed. Like I think he got a bit like stressy because I was stressy too. To be honest, her first holiday, she was quite young.
Yeah.
It's like the heat. You just get scared, like them overheating. But it's just they're an easy age. Like they're just all she does is feed, sleep, awake for a bit, feed, sleep. So it's actually the best time I think to go on holiday.
Yeah, I agree. It gets worse when they start moving around and
yeah, because I can't lay in the sun and tan when you're walking. Are you joking? You're going to drown.
No.
Like I have to have reins on you because I want to tan and you're going to want to run around and play in the pool. That's why I think Danny will enjoy holidays more when she
you can start launching her around a swimming pool.
Yeah, because he'll want to play with her. Like she'll want to go to the water park. It'll be more fun then.
Yeah.
But everything's got a give and take, isn't it? Because like, yes, that they come alive and they're way more fun to play with, but then they want to play all day. And so you don't usually want to play all day.
And then they cry when
as
they
well.
get taken out of the pool, and it's like, no, you need to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to sleep. Like you can't just be in the pool all day. Yeah.
But it went well. It was a success. The holiday.
Oh, it was great.
Amazing.
It was literally amazing.
If you can get that
filled
right
up.
balance, which you've clearly got, and you got lucky maybe with the colic that you didn't get so lucky with and all that, I actually think that is definitely the sweet spot for
the
trips
reason
away.
I say-
People don't do it enough. They wait so long to put their kids on
You
planes.
don't have
and
to
things.
pay for a ticket right now. I'm like, I'm
Exactly.
traveling as much as I can before you're two because
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking so intently is because we're going next week
where are you going?
to Greece. It's Corfu. It's a hotel chain that we just go to all the time. The one we usually go to is in Spain. It's called the Icos Andalusia. We're going to the one in.
Oh my god, that's where my sister goes. She's
Yeah.
going to the one in Greece.
I'm going to the
Funny
one in
enough,
Greece.
yeah, she
Same
goes to
time.
the one in Marbella.
Yeah, that's the one I always go to.
So good for kids.
Yeah,
That's what she raves on about it all the
So we
time.
always go to the one. It's called Icos Andalusia.
Yeah.
But we're trying a new one in Greece.
That's what she's trying the new one in
She
Greece
there
as
next
well.
week?
No, she's going. I think August.
Right.
She asked me to go actually.
Right.
but
No, it's class, right? Well, the one
needs
in Spain is. But the reason I was like, how is it because we never went when Clementine was that young because it was a pandemic. So the reason I was going to, and how was it? Was it enjoyable? Did Danny have a
Yeah.
good time? Is because I'm doing it next week. I'm really
I think-
intimidated by the whole
I
thing.
think I think it's an easy age. It's because it's just like put them in the pram, walk
all right,
around. Yeah, then they sleep, and then
You've
Okay.
just got
don't
the second one
overthink
for
it. I feel like the more you overthink it, the more you think. But actually, just
Yeah, because you know what
generally
do
fine.
you know what's given me this anxiety? I had a chat with my oldest, Clementine, who's 6, and I went, you know, you're going to have a great time. We're going away with some of your friends from school. They're going to be there at the same time, and you can all go to the kids' club. And she went, what? I went, and you can all go to the kids' club. She went, I'm not going to a kids' club. I went, no, you will. It'll be great. It will be you, and it will be Stella, and it will be Margot, and you're going to have a wonderful time. And she went, no, I'm not going to a kids' club. I was like, no, please go to the kids' club. The reason that we've booked this holiday, part of the reason that we've booked this holiday is the fact that they have a really desirable kids' club.
Yeah.
And when I say desirable, I mean for you. It's literally tailored to your every whim. So you have to go. And she's gone, I'm not going on holiday. 6. I'm not going on holiday if you send me to the kids' club.
fair
So now I'm
enough. She knows what she
thinking-
wants.
Now I'm thinking, right, I got to deal with her and a 4-month-old.
yeah.
And I am now like worried.
The kids club.
Yeah,
is-
at least you could take one each, but then knowing that maybe you could have just shared the
Yeah.
help of one, and
This
she
is-
could have been
you
in the
have to-
kids
Yeah.
club.
No, because I think you're in this beautiful period right now, but when you go on holiday with the toddlers and the older than that, you can't sit in town. Like it's just not an option. Like they won't sit
Yeah.
still.
We went to Mallorca, and we stayed in a villa with my sister and her 4 kids. And it was the morning. I was putting the washing out, and my niece came out. She's 2. And I'm like, don't go near the pool. Like, remember, you can't swim. She's just like, I'm not jumping.
yeah,
I'm
you've got
talking
to.
to her. I'm like, I'm not jumping in to get you. So don't go near the edge of the pool. She goes near the edge of the pool. I'm like, don't fall in. She puts her hands in. I'm like, oh, bless her. She just wants to put her feet in. She sits down. She puts her legs in. I'm watching her. I'm putting the washing out. And I'm like, oh, yeah, put your legs in. Like, is it cold? She stands up. I'm watching her. No, she's not going to do what I think she's about to do. She falls straight, jumps straight in, just jumps. She's drowning now.
Did you have to turn into like Baywatch? You just like running through?
I was so angry. I thought, I just run over, like put my arm and grabbed it, hauled her out of my arm. Like, what are you doing? She's like, starts crying. I'm like, you can't swim.
This is why. What were you doing with Suede in this? I bought this thing. It's like this little float thing with an umbrella that she can float.
Yeah, I got one of them, and I put her in.
Is that what Suede did the whole holiday? That's what I'm hoping. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just you're awake, change your nappy, feed
change
you.
Your nappy,
oh, do you want to go in the pool? Yeah.
Sit in this thing.
It almost like tires them out because they're so overstimulated.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That it tires them. Yeah, and then they sleep again.
No, with one, that is a dream. That was a dream. But you've obviously got second ticket.
Second with attitude who won't go into kids club.
Going whether they go to kids club or not is literally what's going to decide whether that's a good holiday or not, in my opinion. Yeah. Like when we did that cruise recently and the kids club ended up not being really a thing because there was no other kids on the cruise. It massively affected it.
You need to maybe just say, right, the kids club spaces are almost closed. There's one left. If you don't want it, it's fine. But just so you know, there's one space left.
I like that.
And if we don't take that now, then that's it. And all your friends, you're probably going to see them maybe at breakfast, maybe at dinner. But apart from that, you're not going to see them again.
That's a good strategy, but she'll love that.
Yeah.
Go, great.
The problem is, I never went to kids club. Like I can literally remember me and my brothers refusing to go, and I'm like, what chance have I got if he's me? He's half me. Yeah. He's obviously not going to. And we had like, each other to hang out with, but now I look back on some of these family holidays we did when I was like, maybe not like this age, but like, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think, oh my God, did I ruin that for my parents? Like, I probably did ruin the holiday.
100%.
You did.
I wouldn't go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're totally honest, all children ruin everything for their parents. If you're like totally honest, like I know you're not meant to say that, but
no, they ruin the little things that don't matter, but they make. But like
if you go to a restaurant, if you're completely honest with yourself and not like being performative, it would be better if they weren't there.
Depends how your day's been. If you've had a day of break from them and they've got to do, and you've had some like for me. Everyone's different, but for me, if I've been able to find some time in the day for a bit of exercise, which is a huge thing for me mentally, or just any sort of thing that brings me some sort of joy, my mood and everything, my patience, everything is a million times better. If I feel like, oh my God, this day's got away from me, I've got loads of work to do, I haven't done any things I want to do, and then I'm in that situation where I've got to be super dad and I really don't want to be, our mood is really what dictates it, I think.
Just everything's affected, isn't it? Like the choice of restaurant. Like realistically, if I'm I don't really want to go to a restaurant where they give out crayons on the way in. Like, that's not really what I want to do.
You love the crayons, Rory. Come on, I've seen you.
It's not the dream, is
Last time we went for a meal, we were scribbling away. No, I sent Saffron something. I don't know if you can get it up on the screen, but I saw this thing. We talked, no, not now. I mean, for the edit. We talked about the plane thing and what you're talking about with, like, how kids can ruin stuff. I saw this thing on Instagram the other day where this mum was taking, probably about Sway's age, baby on the plane. It was the first time flying with a baby, and the mum prepared handmade little goodie bag. It had like biscuits, it had some sort of game, it had a note on every single one, and she gave it to every single person on the plane. And it was written from the perspective of the baby, and it said something like, "Hi everyone, my name's whatever, this is my first flight, I'm really sorry if I cry, it's because I'm nervous, I don't know what's going on. One of the things in the bag was earplugs." So it's really thoughtful because it's like, if I'm making too much noise, I'm really sorry. Please understand, I'm just a baby. I'll do my best to stay quiet, but there's a chance I won't. So I put some earplugs in for you, and my mum made you all some chocolate or whatever it is.
That's so nice.
Enjoy it. And that is obviously incredibly extra and hard to do. But I just thought, as a person who has got annoyed with before I had kids, when other babies are screaming for the whole plane, that just puts you in your place.
You see, I would never get annoyed at a baby scream. Like,
no, pre-kids,
all I think is, thank God I'm not dealing with that.
But were you like that before kids?
Yeah.
Before kids. If I had a baby in front of me crying, I would literally be ready to kill someone.
I get annoyed, but I still get annoyed.
Do you?
Yeah, on the flight back from Ibiza, there was like another kid, and she was probably like 4 or 5, and she was screaming, and my baby wasn't, and I thought, you're 4 or 5.
Really?
You're really screaming right now.
If you wake her up.
Yeah, I just think you can get annoyed from a crying baby, even if you've got a baby. But I would never... Like, because there was a point where my baby she was like a bit, and I saw a woman kind of do her face, and it almost made me want.
You turned into a tiger.
It made me want my daughter to scream more.
Yeah.
Because I thought, and I keep seeing a thing on social media at the moment where it's like, people say they would hate to sit in business and see another child in business.
Mm.
And people like, well, why? You don't pay for business to not. It's
Have
not
you heard
child-free seats.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
child-free business. It's just business.
Also, you're so lucky. You've got the best seat on the plane.
yeah, but
there happens to be a
they
kid next
pay
to
for
you,
that
so
seat
what?
just as much.
Have
as
you heard the James
had.
Corden quote for that? I know James Corden's not everyone's favourite person, but he tells a great story for that, which is he says I think it was on the flight when he was moving from America to England. He had him and his whole family on business or first class or whatever. And one of his kids was crying the whole time. And some dude comes up to him a bit angry and goes, "Excuse me, I didn't pay £3,000 to be sitting next to a crying baby the whole time." And James turned around and goes, "Yeah, you pay £3,000 to sit next to a rich crying baby." Which I thought was quite a good
Yeah,
comeback.
because it's just you don't
Like,
pay for
yeah.
a business seat to be like child-free. Like you pay for a business seat.
No,
Same way you don't
the
pay for
entitlement of
life.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But I had an incident recently on a flight where, and I completely resonate with this, and I think I handled it really well, right? So like a week before,
He definitely
I'd been
didn't. You know, we're going to
really
hear the
did.
story.
No, honestly,
I can guarantee that he didn't.
No, I honestly did on this. You'll agree with me. So the week before, I'd been sitting at a football match with my little boy, and you know, he's not of the age where he even really cares about football. Certainly can't pay attention to a game. So we're sitting on these seats. You know, you get the little football chairs that pop up and down, and he was kicking the chair at the guy in front, and I was saying to him, like, "Stop that, stop that." And he wasn't like even really kicking it. He was sort of putting his leg like that. I was like, "Stop, come on." There's an old boy in front, and I could tell he was getting a bit annoyed. And he did one more time, and I made a point of telling him off in a loud way so that the man knew. I was like, "Look, you've got to stop kicking that now." And then the man turned around and sort of went, oh, like looked at me like I was the devil, and I just sort of went, "Mate, he's 4. Like, you can hear I'm dealing with it. Like, don't." You know, it's just really. So when it happened to me a few weeks later, I was on the plane, I was really adamant I did not want to be that guy. So this kid was kicking my seat constantly, and it was one of those flights where I needed to sleep as well.
But were the parents playing the game that you were playing, where the parents were obviously going,
No,
"Stop kicking that seat now," so that you could hear it and you know that it's in
they
hand?
weren't, but I actually don't think they knew he was doing it because
Right.
they had other kids. I think they had their hands full, frankly. So I had no anger towards it. I was just sitting there thinking, like, I have to deal with this because it's stopping me sleeping. I don't want to lose the whole chance to sleep. But equally, I don't want to be a dick. Like, and I know this kid is doing nothing wrong, and it could be my kid easily. So how do I come about this? So I honestly left it for like 45 minutes. I let him kick my seat for 45 minutes. And I thought, right, what would I want to hear if I was the parent? So I turned around and I went, "Excuse me." I'm really sorry. And I know he's only a little kid. I was like, "Can you just have a word with him? Because he's like kicking my seat a lot and it's just a bit annoying." And they went mad at me. And I was like, and then I hated them because I was
They
like,
go mad at
yeah,
you?
she went, "He is 2," like that. I was like, I literally just said that. I literally just said, "I know he's little. I'm not annoyed." I was like, "I gave you an olive branch and you threw it back in my face." And I was like, in my head, I was like, "Fuck you guys. I now hate you all as a family." Because that's not the right
So
response,
did they have a word with the kid?
They did, and he did kick me a little bit more after that, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I bet he did.
The point is, no, as in like, he kicked me less, but he still continued it a bit. But the point was,
That's
they
appalling from
didn't
them.
take the olive branch. They should have. I think I even said, "Oh, I've got little kids too." Like, I was like, I get it. I get the issue.
I would have pulled faces to the kid first. Just not
Yeah,
like
turned
evil
around. Yeah,
faces,
yeah,
but
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
But then they think it's a game.
like,
Then they think it's a game.
like, stop it.
But then they think if I kick his chair, he pulls a face at me. That'd be
No,
funny.
it's not a game.
Yeah.
Stop. I would have done that first.
Maybe,
I feel
maybe.
like.
But I didn't handle it badly, though, did I? I was really polite. I was really nice about it.
Oh, that's
And what am I
horrible.
supposed to do? Sit there for like a 3-hour flight and just take it?
No. No. It's just common courtesy. Don't let your kid kick the back of my seat.
Yeah. Anyway,
Standard.
Yeah.
Standard stuff.
every kid's going to do that. I would have done it
No,
as a
of
kid.
course. But what you have to do is, it's like Clementine went through this spell when she would be on the tube of making sure that her feet were on the seat. She'd always get her, like whatever she was doing, she'd always get a feel. And I would always say loudly so that everybody could see us handling it. I was like, no, we don't put our feet on the seat.
Yeah.
And she started doing it when there was like other adults doing it as well. So then I'd be going, no, we don't put our feet on the seat, Clementine. And there'd be like a 28-year-old
like,
over there, yeah, with her foot. I'd be like, okay, I can't tell her, but I can tell you.
Yeah.
But it's basically just, it's almost that performative thing where all the parents had to do was do what you did, which is say it in earshot so that you know that it's in hand, and then putting.
If they'd done that same thing to me, I can tell you what my response would be. I would have gone like, "Got you, okay."
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, no worries, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. I think, listen, I always try and see things from other people's perspective. So they were probably stressed. I think they had 3 kids. They were like, the last thing I need is someone telling me. But is the life is life. Your kids are doing things that are affecting other
You're
people.
responsible as well for your own kids' behaviour, of course you are.
But so flying, you've done flying, and that was fine. But again, at that age, it is fine. Really, I think it's when they get a little
I'm
bit
glad
more.
to hear
older.
this. This has been educational for me, Tennessee, because I'm worried.
No, I think the flight's easy.
And the holiday was easy. The pool and everything was easy.
Yeah.
You basically had it, and I'm not saying you had it easy because it's definitely not easy to give birth and have a child. But like, it sounds like it's gone as well as you could have hoped for so far, which is amazing.
Or it hasn't, and you're just incredibly resilient.
Maybe. Has there been
No.
any difficult moments? Like,
Any be difficult moments?
if they're not coming to mind, that's a good
No.
thing.
No, yeah, obviously
Well,
there is
But
difficult.
surely Danny's driven you mad at some point over the past 3 months.
I think at the beginning it's more just like finding the balance.
Yeah.
I think even now, like I'm still trying to find my way of like being a partner and being a mum. And I say it's Danny a lot. I'm like, sorry if I'm just being a mum, because I feel like days go by and I'm like, was I just a mum today? Like, did I forget that I have a whole fiance? Like, I feel like I wasn't a good partner, because you get so caught up in it, and then when you have a moment by yourself, you just want to be by yourself, that you forget that, oh my god, wait, I've got like you got like different
Straddle
roles.
both
Yeah, like
lives,
I've got
yeah.
2 people here that like I've got to like be someone to,
Yeah.
but then I've got myself, so it's like at the beginning it's definitely like finding the balance.
You mentioned fiance there. Have you got any wedding plans? Do we know what's going on with that yet?
I don't have any way. I want to obviously get married, engaged, but I haven't started planning it yet. I feel like I just wanted to focus on Suede. That I'm like, yeah, if I want to plan a wedding, I feel like I want it to get to the point where I'm like, what next? Let me plan the wedding. I don't want it to be like, oh, I've got to deal with her. Oh, I'm trying to plan the wedding. It's like I want to put my all into it. Maybe even when she goes to nursery, and then it's like I've got
That's what I was
days
gonna
a week free to plan my wedding.
Because also, like, if you are thinking about having other kids as well, it probably factors into your thought of like, do you want, now that, you know, because I'm the same, like we're engaged still, and our kids, we got to the point where we're like, right, well, we might as well let the kids be part of it now.
Yeah.
If they're there to be there, they might as well be there, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
remember it. And have you thought about that? Like, would you rather have any kids you're going to have first and then let them be part of the wedding, or would you rather get it done before?
I feel like it just depends on the age gap. If we make it to like 2 years, like Suede's 2, we'll probably have had the wedding by then.
Right, okay.
But if we make it before she's 2, I'm already like having another baby. I don't know. Like maybe we'd wait to have the wedding, but then like the idea of being engaged for like 3-4 years.
Nothing wrong with it. Don't say anything bad about it.
Right.
You'll get me in trouble.
I don't know if it sits right with me.
Yeah, it doesn't to be most people, to be fair. I get it in the neck every day. What with Danny, when you met him, like, because you talked about you've always wanted to be a mum, and like that's a big part of your life, and obviously you've got loads of big family. Danny said the same thing in terms of he wants to be a young dad. Like, how soon after meeting him did you think about it? Like, he could be father material. He could be someone I want to have kids with.
Sounds crazy, but I knew, like, before I was even like went on a date with Danny, it was like I knew that he was going to be such a good dad. He just is such a good dad.
Why
He's
though?
just-
What was it?
I don't know. Like, you just know when someone's going to be a good dad. He was, because we went into locked in together, that like time getting to know him, he just was like up for anything, and he was so fun, and he's just such a fun person. And then when we did start dating, it was just like there wasn't ever a doubt in my mind. It was like, I know you're the person I'm going to have kids with.
He's got great morals as well, hasn't he? Like what he did with his own dad and his relationship with his own dad and stuff.
Got amazing morals. And then you don't want to say it because now I'm like, I knew he was going to be the person I had kids with, but then you sound like, well, at the beginning you knew I was going to be.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah,
though,
but
don't
it was
You
quite
couldn't-
soon
you
that
couldn't know.
we ended up like falling
Did
pregnant.
you get together in the show?
No.
No.
So in the show, like, not at all. Wasn't like that. It was just like, he was just a really nice, great guy, and that was all it was. And then after, when we went on a date, it was like, as soon as we went on one date, I was like, yeah, it was like I knew, like I could have got pregnant on that first date, but I knew like he was going to be the one I was going to be. No, I didn't, but I'm saying I could have. Like,
Oh, right.
No, like from that first date, it was like not ever a doubt.
You knew it
if
was
I
him,
wasn't
yeah.
going to be with him. Yeah, I knew it was him.
That's amazing. I think with Danny, you know, I've had the pleasure of doing lots of things with Danny over the years, but also anything he comes to, and I saw this firsthand when we played that game at the Emirates, that I actually got to meet Suede.
Yeah.
And you were there. But even outside of that, all the things that I've seen with Danny, like his mum and dad are almost always there. And I think that's amazing. Honestly, I think that's so cool. And he probably isn't something that people watching this will probably think is cool, but you know, maybe Danny's other stuff might not. But trust me, like I've been lucky enough to have my dad along with a lot of the football stuff we've done, and it's just so exponentially better that I get to share it with him. So I've always admired that about Danny. I have chats with his dad regularly about football because his dad's a big football guy and he's involved in a similar sort of like level to what we are. And you must have sort of seen that in him and thought that's a great family vibe to bring into what already sounds like a good family.
Yeah. And my nieces and nephews, we were like a few months into our relationship, and he took my nephew to Misfits. Where was it that you even went? It was like hours away. Where did you go? I was like Newcastle or something. He took my nephew, who's like 9 years old, to a boxing thing. And like, if you haven't grown up with young kids around you, and you don't have like young cousins that you spend time with, or like nieces and nephews, it's a lot.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
take
yeah,
a 9-year-old. They're annoying. Like my niece and nephews, like say to him all the time, like if they're annoying, you tell me, because you might not feel comfortable to be like, stop now. I need some just adult time, because my nieces and nephews think Danny's their age, so they think like
I wonder why.
Like they don't see that actually he's an adult and maybe he doesn't want to play for as long as like you want to play.
But they come knocking for him to play out.
Yeah, it's literally like that. Like they just think like, why Danny? Like he's Danny. Like of course he wants to play with us. So for Danny, when Danny took him to the boxing, I was just like, wow, like that's a big thing to do, because I don't think I would take someone else.
And nobody would have expected him to do it. Like he could have easily not done it, and it wouldn't have changed anything. Like everybody, it's going above and beyond, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe he is mentally like a 9-year-old, and really they had like the best time together. Like because I'm like, what do you guys talk about? And he's like, I think like my nephew after, he's like, I just couldn't believe like Danny would eat an Oreo in one. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like like an Oreo. He was like, Danny would just eat the Oreo in one bite, and I'm like, wow. Like, and then I'm like, that's what you guys spoke about.
I love that. That's how he's impressing the 9-year-olds. Like, what's this skill?
That, and even when I got in the car like the next day after they'd gone and to move the bag, it was like Oreos, Doritos, like sweets. Like they'd gone to the shop and just bought so much sweets. Like, oh my god, that's what you guys. And even on holiday, it was constantly like, Danny, don't do that. Can't tell me what to do. No, I'm not telling you what to do. It's more like if you do that, they're gonna do that. Like you're jumping into the pool like off the highest ledge ever. Like they're gonna then do that. And it was like Danny was a kid.
I love that reply
can't
from
tell
him.
me what to do. Yeah,
Tell me what to do.
There's no rules on holiday, and it's like no. There's always rules.
Did Danny
like,
go kids club?
Yeah. Danny would go if he could.
Danny, don't jump off the top board. You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, it was like, there's no rules on holiday. Like we're having fun. It's like no. Like they won't stop. But then it did get to the point where like my sister would come out and she'd be like, stop, all of you, like time out. Yeah.
I think what we're seeing here, for those who don't know, is that Danny is the same person off camera basically as he is on camera.
Yeah.
100%.
In many ways, in terms of like just enjoying himself really, which is great. I think that it's good that you got to see those parts of him, and it helps you make those decisions. And we had Joe Weller on here a few months ago, and he comes from a very different sort of background, and he talked quite openly about how he just basically never been around kids. And like, he was the youngest in his family sort of unit, and he didn't. Now he is, because his sister's got kids. But as a child and as a teenager, he never got exposed to it, and he almost felt uncomfortable around them in a way. He didn't know. So you can have such different experiences. We talk about young parents like they're in one box, but actually someone can have a very different, exposure to children in that time to then be ready to have kids, versus someone else who could be 35 and have no experience around kids still.
You don't get to an age where suddenly you're going to be good around kids. I think you just...
Yeah, you are or you're not.
Yeah, you just are or you're not, or you just have to learn to be. I think even with Suede, at the very beginning, if she ever was crying, it's like Danny would kind of be like, she's crying. I'm like, nothing's wrong with her. Like, I feel like I come from a family where it's like we do every single thing we can to make her stop crying before we then think something's wrong. Yeah. Whereas I think at the beginning it was like something wrong, and it's like she's just crying. Like she's just a baby. She's just gonna cry. Like
I had Danny's
try anything you
mentality
can.
That,
Yeah.
I remember we didn't know what we were doing, but when Clementine was first born, we took her straight back to the hospital. We're like, she's crying.
Yeah.
They were like, what if she's a baby? Then they wouldn't let us leave until she had a wee. It was in the middle of the night. We're like, she's not weeing. Like, then we literally, they're like, she's fine, but we can't actually discharge her until she's had a wee. That's like the rule. I don't know.
Right, because they've got to see.
They've just got to see that she had a wee. So we ended up just sitting there for about 4 hours, from like midnight till 4 a.m, just going, no, she still hasn't had one. There was nothing wrong, but it was just us panicking because we weren't as young as you, far from it, but we were far less experienced, and it's come to you so much easier than it ever did to me or my wife, really. That within the first week, we took her back to hospital, literally the same hospital. And we were like, what's wrong with, like, she's crying? Because she had screaming all the time.
Yeah, but I probably would have done that if I didn't have my sisters. I was texting them every 5 minutes, calling them every 2 minutes.
So great.
Is this normal? Is this normal? Yeah.
Support network.
Probably if I didn't, I probably would have taken her back to the hospital as well. Just been like, you just panic. How can you not?
Yeah. No, it's terrifying.
What I think we asked Danny this when he came on, but I'm keen to see if you have the same opinion. Obviously, fast forward a few years, maybe Suede's acting up a little bit, getting in trouble here and there. Like, who's going to be the disciplinarian? Because I know Danny's got the fun side down, but has he got the... Traditionally, often, not always, but the man will be the you're in trouble.
Obviously not Danny, is it?
Not, is
He's
it?
not gonna.
No,
be.
even I know that.
I don't think. I think I'm definitely the strict one.
Are you okay with that? You okay with taking that role on?
Yeah. I'm just a strict person. I'm strict with Danny. Like I'm just a strict person.
Stop
Well,
jumping
yeah.
off the top
Yeah,
board.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I'm just someone that's like strict. So like, there's not going to be a doubt in my mind that I'm going to be the strict one with her. He's probably going to be so chilled.
But also that, like, if that's how you naturally are, like you say, and Danny being the way he is naturally, it shows you how people can be good matches, right?
It's
Because it's a
perfect.
Yeah,
natural
just gonna work.
personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's such a big part of it. But well, Tennessee, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you
for
very
having
much.
me.
Yeah,
Okay.
really honoured. Thank you so much.
Thanks for going easy on us as well, because we probably said more things that have annoyed you over the episodes, but we got away with it for now. What I'd love to do, maybe in the future, when you guys have had a little bit more time to settle in, like, I don't know, a year from now, whenever it is, get you guys both back
Couples
on.
ep.
Because we've got to see the progress, because I feel like you literally, a bit like Rory and Pandora, but your baby was basically born when we started this pod. We saw Danny before baby, we've seen you post baby, and then let's have a toddler update. Let's have an update, and hopefully, a few years after that. But so far, all I can say is, like, it seems like you've taken this like a duck to water, way slicker than probably either of us
Absolutely
did.
amazing. Honestly,
And so
amazing.
you're in great shape. You're in great shape. I felt the same thing when we had Danny. Considering he hadn't had the child yet, I remember
No, but
listening
I
to
thought
Danny.
he was.
thought,
I
he
thought he
sounds
didn't have
really
a clue.
prepared.
I know that he sounded great. I thought he was just going to be like in the deep end, and we wouldn't see him for a year.
Do you think you thought
Yeah, I thought he was
going
going to like grow a beard and just be like at home trying to like hold back the tide. But it's like when it was mentioned. Obviously, we really wanted to have you on. I was like, okay, well we'll send her an email in 2026, like see if she can find the time. So no, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you for
that you
having
managed to do it.
me.
Keep up the good work. Keep smashing it, Danny, as well, mate. Well done. Very proud of you.
Well done, Danny.
See you
mate.
next time. Thank you for watching Internet Dads. Make sure you're following us, liking us, reviewing us, all that stuff. It does help a lot. And we'll see you on the next one.